Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines. One of them is going to be about one of the Fed chair speeches from yesterday. We did have a little bit more consensus on that we should be holding rates steady. And then I also have a news article about the Bank of England and their rate cut, and some of what their chairs were looking at, because they didn't have an overwhelming consensus yesterday, and some of them wanted to do a larger cut than what they actually did. So we'll dive on into those after we get you prepped for some success today. Let me know how the new mic sounds. I finally got that all set up. Had to go get a boom arm so I could actually position the mic where I wanted it. So let's hop over to that stock heat map for the morning. We are seeing things looking quite neutral. I think a lot of that is going to be in preparation for today's data drop, and that's going to be some job numbers. We do have Apple sitting up 0.32 from its close, sitting down 0.12 in the pre-market right now. We've got Nvidia sitting up at 3.08, looking quite neutral in the pre-market though, sitting up 0.08. We do have Berkshire Hathaway sitting up 0.74, and in the pre-market sitting up 0.18. We've got Amazon sitting up 1.13, getting hit a little hard in the pre-market so far. It is down 2.88. We've got Eli Lilly sitting up at 3.35. It has been doing quite well. They have been dropping a lot of new medications, so definitely a company I've been keeping my eye on. In the pre-market, they are doing quite nicely as well, up 0.30 right now. We've got ExxonMobil sitting down 1.32 from its close. In the pre-market, doing quite nicely though, up 0.41 so far. We've got Tesla getting hit quite hard. I think part of this is a retaliation on the stock for a lot of the job cuts that have been going into effect. We have seen a lot of protests in Washington, D.C. Against a lot of the job cuts that have been going into effect. So Tesla sitting down 1.02, and in the pre-market sitting down 1.24, so getting hit pretty hard. We do have P&G sitting quite neutral, that nice inflation resistant asset. Got that 0.08 down for the close and down 0.02 in the pre-market right now. We've got Microsoft sitting up 0.61, and in the pre-market looking quite neutral, just like most of the rest of that big seven, sitting up 0.19. And we've got Google sitting neutral for a change, looking like it's slowing down on that sell-off just a bit. In the pre-market is sitting down 0.11, so we might have to take a look at that Google. We do have Meta sitting up 1.01, and in the pre-market sitting up 0.36. So looking quite neutral for the morning so far. We do have Bitcoin up 1.16 on the daily. We've got Ethereum up at 2.38. XRP dropping below Tether in that market cap once again is sitting up at 2.97. We've got Solana up 4.18. BNB sitting up at 1.88. We got Cardano sitting up at 3.2, Dogecoin sitting up at 2.28. We do have an outlier with Tron sitting down at 1.32. We've got Chainlink sitting up at 3.13. We've got Avalanche sitting up 3.18. Stellar Lumens up at 3.38. Sui sitting up at 1.9. Ton lagging a little bit behind, sitting up 0.78. Let's hop over to that economic calendar for today. We do have some data that will be coming out very early this morning. At 8:30, we do get our average hourly earnings month over month and year over year. It's looking like we will be holding steady for that month over month, but slowing down just a little bit on that year over year. Definitely something you don't want to see as inflation is rearing its ugly head back up. We will also be getting non-farm payrolls at 8:30 as well. And a little bit later, we will be getting a Fed chair speaking right after we get that unemployment rate. So a lot of jobs numbers for the morning. We also get some out of Canada as well with participation rate and the part-time employment change as well. Altogether, this will be a big market mover for your morning. It does look like we have a bit of a mixed bag. Manufacturing's finally heading in the right direction, with forecast being a little bit under that 0, but a lot more than that negative 13 that we saw before. Non-farm payrolls looking to head in that wrong direction though, down from 256,000 to 170,000. So definitely keeping my eye on that big data drop we will be getting at 8:30. We also have another data drop at 10 o'clock. That will be that Michigan consumer sentiment. That will be another big market mover looking to hold steady. If we do come in a little bit under that, might see a little bit of some sell-off. We do have a bit of liquidity underneath of us to grab, so we could get that off of some of this data before we try to head back in the right direction. At noon, we will be getting another Fed chair speaking, and this is something I will be keeping my eye on. The consensus overall is to hold for longer so far, so I would like to see that continue. Let's hop over to those fear and greeds for the morning, because we are seeing some big changes. We've got that stock market sitting down 5 points, heading back down in that fear range. It was sitting quite neutral yesterday. Looking to head back to that extreme fear, especially with everything that has been unrolling with this new administration. And we've got that stock market sitting at 41 and fear, and crypto down 5 points. Sorry about that. Was on the wrong tab for that. For that liquidation heat map, we do have a light hotspot sitting back down at that 95,500 mark, and a lot of liquidity still residing to the top side of us around 98,300, and runs all the way up to 98,700. If you zoom this on out to that 3-day, you do see some of that liquidity back to the top side for the very hot spot. That's going to be that 100,000, right below that 100,000 range, running all the way up from 99,900 all the way down to that very, very light spot at 99,150. You zoom this on out a little bit further, take a look at that 1 week. You can kind of see the higher term time frames have most of that liquidity to the top side of us. Going to be those highs before we started that dip back at that 103,000, which is an area I've been talking about us needing to turn into some support to really continue up to the top side. Very clear on that 2 week as well. Most of that liquidity residing to the top side back at those highs at 106, where we got that first that big rejection back down to the 90s. All right, let's say hello to the chat. I do see it moving quite quickly. We've got Jesse Gulak in here, Jay Violet, Jesta Sub. We've got Jesta Sub in here saying good morning. He says he loves this community. Well, we appreciate you being a part of it. I'm glad you showed up today. We've got Alexandra G in the chat saying don't forget to smash that like button. Jesse Gulak saying what a great clear sound, BC. Well, that's why I was wanting to switch over to the new mic. had a little bit of problems with it. It only came with like a little desk stand, and it was like way down here. But now I've got it on a nice old boom stand, and it sits right in front of me. So I hope the sound is a whole lot better. We've got All Set in the chat saying good morning to everyone. Crypto Coin Mindset, I dropped a link to his channel. He says a mic sounds good. Go ahead and scroll up and check out his channel. Give him a sub. He does some great work. We've got let's see, Jesse Gulek saying, BC, good job to me hitting the like. Yeah, I was sitting in there and I didn't hit the like button. We got Kyle Fields in the chat, Jay Violet in the chat, and that looks about it for the morning. Oh, there we go. Got Donato Cabrera just joining. Good morning to you, Donato Cabrera. Hope you are having a great day so far. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and see what we're seeing for the morning. Let's zoom this on in to that 15-minute and do a bottom up here, because I was looking at things at a higher term time frame, and then kind of zoomed it on in to that 15-minute. And it looked like we might be hitting a bit of a topping range here. You do have that MACD getting some heavy curvature, as well as your prime oscillator getting that curvature as well. Just switch back to the red on our prime oscillator line, and our money flow, it's slowing up on some of that buying pressure. So we are kind of faltering here at this last high that we had made at that 97,700, and it's looking like we might drop back down. If we can make a higher low here, it would be quite nice to continue that uptrend here. We've got a nice little range here where we could just make a higher low and continue on up to the upside and try to get back to this 99,300. We'll definitely have to see if we cool those oscillators off just a bit and continue to get some buying pressure here in this range. If not, we've got that strong range at 95,300, which could be some support all over again, and there is a bit of liquidity residing at that range. You zoom this on out to the hourly, it does look like we do have a little more room to run here before we start seeing some topping signals. So to cool this off just a little bit, seeing that higher low made and continue on up to the upside here would definitely be a nice move to make. You do have that money flow, which is just starting to get a slow up on that selling pressure. So definitely keeping my eye on that money flow on this higher term time frame. Volume has been staying steady, and that's what we want to see as this selling pressure kind of slows up here, especially as we're looking for that MACD to cross our zero line and kind of drag that indicator up just a little bit. Definitely looking like we have some room to run to the upside for the rest of the day once we cool off that 15-minute. You zoom this on out to our 4 hour, and we've got things looking like they're about to just start picking up here. You do have that money flow looking quite nice and getting that curve back to the upside here. Just waiting for that to kind of start being some buying pressure here on our higher term time frame. You do have your volume, which has slowed down just a little bit as your selling pressure has slowed up. So looking like the bears are losing some of that strength here on the higher term time frame. You do have that MACD, which has crossed our indicator line and is looking for a big, nice move to the upside here. Got plenty of room if we can switch that over from selling pressure to buying pressure here, and just waiting for that bleed over from your 1 hour into this 4 hour here. Definitely going to need to see us get back above that 99,300 if we want to continue this move to the upside. Got my eye on that money flow here on the 4 hour as well. That will be that big market mover for not only Bitcoin, but for the rest of your alts too. You have been seeing Bitcoin reclaiming some dominance as the whole market has been getting a sell-off. Looking like We're cooling off at just a little bit here, but you've got some strong support down here at about that 61%, which is going to be a level. If we drop above, you might see a bunch of your altcoins start running. So that's what I've got my eyes on for Bitcoin for today. Maybe a little pullback for the morning before we try to get back up to that 99,000, which is right where all of that mid-range liquidity is residing. I see Al Jr. in the chat saying good morning to everyone. Good morning to you, Al Jr. We've got username in the chat. Good morning to you, username. Gonna drop those rib emojis for you. I know you like your ribs. We've got the Dusty Hunt in here saying good morning, soon to be rich peeps. Good morning to you, the Dusty Hunt. That's a name you can't say fast there. All right, let's hop over to some of these news articles I was looking at. If anyone does have any alt requests, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. I got plenty of time to take a look at some alt requests because these news articles are quite short. Let's hop over to this first one. We've got the other one that I wanted to look at first. There we go. Votes for 50 basis point BOE rate cut were surprising. Two members of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee preferring a 50 basis point interest rate cut was a surprise and will drive near-term headlines and market price, says RBC Blu-ray Asset Management Neil Mehta. We understand the concerns around weakening demand given the direction of data following last autumn's budget, the portfolio manager says. However, reducing interest rates further risks increasing the probability of inflation persistence above the Bank of England's 2% target, he says, adding that core inflation is still running above 3% and wages above 5%. The Bank of England cut the bank rate by 25 basis points to 4.5%. I do see XYO requested, so let me get that on the list. Any other alt requests, just go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. Username saying BC, I have a super duper question, super serial. Well, drop it in the chat for me, username. We'll see how serious it is. Sometimes you like to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. We see happy birthday to K Diggity. Oh, happy birthday, K Diggity. I don't see you in the chat, but I hope you see this. I hope you have a great Friday. Birio Ort Tourney President Day. Not sure what that means, username, but it seems like you're having some fun there. All right, we've got the Bank of England talking about a 50 basis point rate cut, and they've had their they've had a few chairs looking at that for potential, especially since they've been seeing a very restrictive rate on their economy, kind of sitting at some of the same positions that we were in the United States, but they did start their rate cutting cycle a few months ahead of us. They have been way more cautious than we were in our rate cutting cycle, so they have some breathing room to actually cut 50 basis points if you see some of the data head in the right direction. Just like us, their core inflation is sitting quite high, and this is something that they've been keeping their eye on, especially since that cuts out a lot of the big costs that you spend every single day. Your normal inflation being above 2%, like most of the world is quite concerning, especially since a lot of the data that has been coming out with it is quite concerning. Just like their wages, same as the United States, have been heading in the wrong direction as your inflation pressures tick up. And this is probably why they didn't make that 50 basis point decision right now, but you do have the potential for that to come later on, especially if some of the data picks up and heads in the right direction. All right, let's get over to that other news article I was taking a look at. We got Dallas Fed's Logan signals rate cuts require U.S. labor market cooling. The Dallas Federal Reserve Bank President Lori Logan on Thursday signaled she was ready to keep interest rates on hold for quite some time, even if inflation drops closer to the Fed's 2% target goal, as long as the labor market does not falter. She said she would view the combination of slowing inflation and a strong labor market as evidence that the monetary policy was not meaningfully restrictive. While good news, she said in remarks prepared for a delivery to the Bank of International Sentiments conference in Mexico, it wouldn't necessarily allow the Fed to cut rates soon. Instead, she said, it would strongly suggest that we're already pretty close to the neutral rate, without much near-term room for further cuts. On the other hand, she said, if the labor market or demand cools further, that would be evidence it's time to ease. Last week, citing slower than hoped progress on bringing down inflation, the Fed kept its short-term policy rate in the range of 4.25% to 4.5%. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the central bank was in no hurry to cut it, and adding further that it would take further cooling in inflation or a weakening job market to prompt further policy easing. U.S. inflation by the Fed's target measure, the 12% change in personal consumption expenditures price index, actually ticked up the end of last year and measured at 2.6 in December. Logan's skepticism over cutting rates solely on the basis of better inflation puts added focus on the labor market, which has remained strong, with the unemployment rate ticking down last month to 4.1%. The Labor Department publishes data for February on Friday, which is today, and economists expect job growth to cool but not collapse. Logan noted there are a range of uncertainties that could affect the Fed's path, including the trade policy under the Trump administration, as well as volatile financial conditions. To me, the monetary policy implicates that there are uncertainties generally come down to whether sustainability, restoring price stability requires keeping rates at least the current level or moving lower. So definitely seeing a lot of consensus from these Fed chairs. And as she was talking about, we will be watching the job numbers just like the Fed chairs are, because that's going to be their first signal that they might actually start easing a little bit more, especially as we are seeing inflation pressures kind of tick up. And as this trade war kicks off, you might see a little bit more of those inflation pressures tick their ugly head up, especially as your production side gets hit a little bit harder. We do have to import a lot of goods to manufacture things and produce, so definitely going to impact some of that production side of things. All right, XYO is silly. 90% of the community fell for what that Scott guy said. Big enough warning flag for me. Well, Berio Kart tournament on President's Day. You in? I don't have a way to play Berio Kart username. I am just a PC gamer, so I got rid of everything else when I got a PC, and then I've never went back because it's a lot of fun. Got Dave Digital in the chat saying like 21 is Dave Digital's. Well, I appreciate you, Dave Digital. I hope you're having a great day so far. Got maybe a Band-Aid in here as well. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a great day so far. I've only got one alt request, but if anyone has any other alt requests they'd like me to take a look at, I definitely have some time for that. I did want to take a look at something I talked about yesterday, and that is copper. I did drop a trade setup in our Discord. If you are a WAP upperclassman, you get access to some of those trade setups that we talk about, and I kind of teased it on the show, but I did look at us getting a little bit of a breakout and retest of this long resistance support line coming from back here, way back there. Let me zoom it on out to the daily so you can kind of take a look at what I was looking at. You do have that running from back here. You got a nice little wicking action to the top side of it right here. When we try to get back above to that 236, you've got it running all the way up from the beginning of this fib retracement here, and we ran all the way down, kind of dropped down to our platinum pocket here, got that bounce back up, came back down to our platinum pocket, and I was waiting for a clear signal that we were gonna break to the top side on copper. And as we approach that trend line, I had my eye on the move to make. We did see a bit of a breakout and retest here, and we are now breaking to the top side. We do have a little bit more room to run here as your volume is just starting to pick up here on your 4-hour, as some buying pressure, as you can see, it's just starting to pick up as your MACD and your prime oscillator are looking a bit toppy. That's why I have my eye on some of the highs, the highs from back here, which is going to be that 236 around $4.60. We'll kind of have to see if that hourly plays out like I was hoping. We are seeing some topping signals here, so I might just end up taking some profit here in this range once the market opens up. We do see your money flow holding quite steady. Your volume is starting to increase though, so seeing multiple reversal signals start to flash on the top side might be something to see here on this hourly. You do have that hourly MACD looking like it's getting some curvature back to the bottom side, so definitely just going to be watching this money flow to see if we're just continuing this trend to the upside here. We'll be watching this quite closely today. We do have that 15-minute sitting at a range where you could get some more push to the upside here. Your money flow is holding quite steady here in this range. As you can see, it is heavily green on that 15-minute. We are ignoring all of these bearish divergences here, and as your volume slows up, your money flow is increasing on some buying pressure. You have that MACD looking like it's curving back to the upside, same as your prime oscillator, waiting on some more overbought signals to start flashing and some strong reversal signals to flash. So it probably has a bit of some room to run to the upside here in the morning before we really start bumping again up against some strong resistance. That could be around that $4.50-ish cents. I had a take profit around $4.60 that I was hoping to see. Might end up taking profit a little bit before that. All right, I was watching the Dixie as well. We have been looking like we're in a pretty strong downtrend here. Let's zoom this on in to our hourly here, and as you can see, our platinum pocket on a Fibonacci extension is looking like a strong resistance area. We have been making a lot of lower highs here, and we just made our first higher low, potentially higher low. We'll have to see if that platinum pocket becomes resistance here again. You do have these moving averages constricting quite nicely, so that normally means you're going to get some kind of move in one direction or the other. As we do start seeing this MACD heading back towards that zero line for a cross to the top side, it might start bumping up against some resistance at that platinum pocket to try to get another little bounce and continuation here. You do have your volume holding quite steady as your prime oscillator just switched to the green on this hourly. Definitely looking like you might have a little bit of room to run here. You do have your MACD and your prime oscillator also hitting that cross Back to the upside, just switched to the green on the 4 hour as well. So looking like you could potentially break above that platinum pocket, try to get back to this CME gap. Oh no, it was a fair value gap from a shorter term time frame. That's going to be that 108.51 before we really start seeing some strong resistance there. Might try to retest this platinum pocket at 108.14 to try to turn it into some support. That one day was looking a little ugly though, as you just crossed that zero line to the bottom side on your MACD, and things are looking quite red here on your prime oscillator. We've got Alexander G saying, don't forget to smash that like. We've got you think BTC 15-minute is a false breakout. Well, I can take another look at that chart here in a second. Got BTC. I did see Toshi requested, so we can take a look at that one as well. We got Toshi. Let's get that one added as well. Got Alexander G saying good morning to some people. We've got username saying PC players suck all the fun out of the room. They drink with their pinkies out. Well, you know what, username? You're just mad that we're playing on a superior machine to play games on. I get a bit sweaty. I like to have fun, and you know what's a lot of fun? Sweating with your buddies on some of those multiplayer games and just demolishing people because you got a better machine. I like that zero flick, you know. I switched to PC a long time ago, and I've never looked back. We got Alex in the chat. Good morning to you. All right. Thank you, Alexander G, for dropping that upperclassman link for people. If you haven't checked out the Discord, we do a lot in the free section. We've got a weekly meeting that we do with all of our Discord members. And we have a lot of fun as well. And that upperclassmen, we give a lot more. We got some trade setups that we do. We talk a lot of daily trades as well. We also have a upperclassmen DCA strategy that has been absolutely killing it. So check out that WAP upperclassmen. It's only $20. Got a username saying BC gets an auto like for having the best beard in crypto. Well, I appreciate you for saying that, username. I do a lot of work with the beard. It takes a lot of maintenance, but it's way cheaper and quicker than shaving every day. So I gave up. The beard can have its way here. We got Alex saying, holy cannoli, I didn't realize there were so many people from Alex O channel here. What's up, fam? Yep. And then we all meet in Alex O's chat right after this show ends. So we will see you there, Alex. We got Harp in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Let me take a quick drink of coffee, and then we'll hop into some of those alt requests. All right, we had XYO requested. Never taken a look at that, but we can definitely dive on into it. Apparently, it's on Coinbase. Oh, apparently I have taken a look at it. It bumped up against a platinum pocket on a retracement and is looking to try to reclaim the zero line here. You do have that 4 hour looking a little bit toppy here. You got your 1 hour already confirming a bit of a top here. Money flow holding quite steady in this range though, as some buying pressure. Looking like we're just trying to cool off some of these oscillators. Let's take a look at that 15-minute and see what the morning is bringing our way. Looking like we got some bottom signals here for the 15-minute, so might get a continued push back up. We do have some strong resistance sitting above us at 0.025. Nice psychological number as well. Let's get that line drawn out here. We got plenty of bounces off of that to the bottom side. Really looking to try to see if we can make some continued moves to the top side here. Sitting right at a bit of a golden pocket bounce here. Let's hide that other Fibonacci. There we go. Sitting right at the golden pocket for this current time frame. If we can get some money flow to keep coming back in, you've got our platinum pocket sitting right above us at 0.02344, which might be a little bit of a resistance area. If you can continue to see that money flow coming on in, then you might see that 0.2472 be that strong resistance area. Might be a nice little quick move to make. All right, let's take a quick look at Toshi. We got Toshi as well on Coinbase. Let's see where we're sitting. I was looking at us trying to reclaim some levels, and it looks like we've lost all of them on the move back down. We do have our zero line for our Fibonacci extension being a strong area where we could see another bounce. The 15-minute looking like it's getting a bit toppy here. You already got your prime oscillator looking red, getting that pushback to the upside, but your volume's looking quite ugly here. You got that 15-minute being some heavy sell-off, looking to kind of move sideways in this range. If you can get some more buying pressure to come in, get that slow up, you definitely have a range above us where we rejected off of, which would be a nice area to get back to. That's at 0.00863, where you might see that first resistance area. Got K Diggity in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. And if I heard right, it's your birthday, so I hope you have a great birthday today. We got Buck saying, I tune in. It was BC talking about WAPs? No. No. I was a Sega Pro back in the 90s, says Jay Violet. Oh my God. The good old days of Sega. I haven't played on one of those in forever. I used to have a Dreamcast as well. Those were a lot of fun. Not great graphics, but they were quite a bit of fun. My favorite one was that Nintendo 64, playing some GoldenEye. We've got that 1 hourly looking like we're starting to see that slow up on money flow here on Toshi, and could be a nice little area to try to hit if we can reclaim some of these levels back here. We are looking to try to get a strong little bounce here off of that 0.0007729, which is where we made a nice little bounce from before. This is an area where we might see a bounce back to the top side if we can get to some money flow to continue slowing up on some selling pressure. Definitely looking for a nice little bit of a bounce. We had some equal candle bodies from back here, which would be an area to reclaim as support, which is where we got that wicking action off of. That's that 0.07880. If we can kind of reclaim that, I would look back to the top side there at that 0.08628. Looking like we've got a bit of room to run here on the hourly. 4 hour, looking like we've got those bottom signals finally flashing. MACD getting that curvature back to the upside. Prime oscillator also getting that curvature back to the upside. First reversal signal flash and kind of went from that red to that light red here as our money flow is turning into some buying pressure. So definitely going to need to see if we can get above some of those key levels there, turn them into some support, and continue to the upside. We got Chris Klein in the chat. Good morning to you. Haven't seen you in here in quite a while. I hope you're having a great day so far. Got Retro Mike Tech in the chat as well. Hope you're having a great day. It looks like we got Wick589 in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Hope you are having a great day. It says username, my wife reminds me every year that we certainly do. Wonder what that one was. Got Crypto Billy saying, and our second baseman lead hitter, Donato Cabrera. Yep, good morning to you all. I hope you're having a great day, and I will most definitely see you in the Alexo crypto chat here in about 5 minutes here. We will take a look at Bitcoin because someone was asking if that 15-minute might be a false breakout to the top side. Got a few minutes to take a look at that. And as I had talked about here at the beginning of the show, we are getting that move to the upside here, but it's looking like we've got a bit of a strong resistance area right about where we're sitting. You are seeing a bit of some topping signals here on the 15-minute, just waiting for a secondary reversal signal to kind of flash here as your money flow is kind of faltering in the green. 15-minute MACD kind of shows that there might be a little more room to run. We definitely have a bit of an area right above us where we might start seeing some resistance, which was that low before we really got that strong push up. That's kind of actually where we're sitting right there. Looking at the top side of that, you might see 98.457 be that next little resistance area where we got that little rejection off of before we try to get back up to that 236 and 99,300. We definitely got some light liquidity residing right below us, but you might try to make that upside push first, confirming this as some strong support to go clear out all of the liquidity that's kind of sitting in this whole area right here. Got a lot of liquidity running all the way up to that 100,000. This would be that area where you grab a whole bunch of liquidity before you really kind of continue to the downside here. So might see a little bit of a false move before you try to make a higher low and continue things to the upside. Cool off those oscillators just a bit here on the 15-minute because that 1 hour definitely looked like it has a lot of room to run here. Starting to get the first bit of curvature here on your MACD, but your prime oscillator has plenty of room to run to the upside as your money flow is looking quite like some selling pressure is slowing up. MACD just got that first little curve as it is crossing that zero line, but definitely has plenty of room to run there. So going to need to see if this area right above us is going to be resistance with how the indicators are looking. All right, it is a 6:57. I didn't see any other alt requests. My XRP short went quite well last night, to be honest. I had talked about some lower levels on XRP on my show the other day. Let's see where it ended up landing. Got that 241. I was talking about that platinum pocket here yesterday, and that's right where we got that bit of a bounce. We're unable to reclaim this area as some support. Really got that hard rejection back to the downside to that $2.29 before we started making a bit of a move back to the top side. 4 hour looking like you could potentially get another bit of a rollover here. Will really depend on some money flow there. Do have the 15-minute looking like it's getting some topping signals here. Got a reversal signal. MACD getting that curvature again. Waiting for that money flow to kind of rescue things. Blasphemy. XRP short, says Billy. I approve. I hate XRP. So good on you, Chris Klein. Good on you for making some money. All right, it is 6:59 and it is almost time to head over to Alex O Crypto. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and having some fun in the chat with me. We've got Piper with his last 9:30 show today. He will be going live at 9:30 today, and then next week switching over to that 10 o'clock time slot. That way, if you're watching Alex O Crypto right after me, you can have a smooth transition from Alex to Piper. We will be having that Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today, as well with Trade Intuition. He does an amazing job, and if you haven't been tuning in to learn some new things, I learned some new things, and I've been trading for years, so that man is quite a beast on the charts. No Crypto Nightcap today at 8 p.m. That is Monday through Thursday. We also have Markets After Dark at 11 p.m. with Lunar Beaches Crypto. That is Sunday through Thursday. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button and got that notification bell dinged for all of the 5 shows here on Piper Academy, you might need to do that so you don't miss on out. Other than that, make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day. Might be a volatile day, but it's going to be a good day.